Do you feel like you have better things to do with your life than wasting your time in a 9 to 5? Hey, it's Jacob. Welcome to this new video. Today I'm going to talk about the 9 to 5 job and the myths that surround it. And the first one is you can do a lot in a 9 to 5. Let me write that down. Like, you can do everything, right? And this is a myth. And the thing is, this is important to realize. That was one of my first realization here, where it's kind of like you can do a lot of different things as long as it's within it's in the box, right? If you go outside of the box here, you're done. Like, there is no way you're gonna do anything at all outside of here. Like, or it's going to be like less than 1% of the jobs that are going to allow doing those types of things. And it's important to understand, because I didn't know that, and it's very easy not to know those things, because like no one tells you, like especially education, like they just tell you about like having a job. Like, that's what like the entire education system is based on, right? It's about like, how do you get a job? How do you get hired? How do you do blah, 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 blah? And then they don't talk about like, what if you need to do something that is a little bit different? Then there is no way to do it. So let me give you an example of what that thing is. Time, basically. Time is the thing. If you're doubtful about what I'm saying, I don't recommend following what I'm saying, right? Like, just not trying it for yourself. I'm recommending to actually try it, like to actually go and ask for your boss for more time. Like, just do that, and then you'll see. Maybe I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong. Like, ask. Instead of, like, this next time you need a raise, instead of asking for a raise, ask for more time. Like, ask for a day off per week. Like, you work like only 4 times a week, 4 days a week, and then you don't get a raise. That's it. Like, you ask for that, and you ask even like to be paid less, obviously, like proportionate to like how much you're working, and then like try to negotiate and try to see if how that's going to work, right? And then you're going to quickly realize, this is the first thing that I think is super important when you go down that road, is you're going to realize you cannot modify your time. You're not in control of your time, and you are never going to have that. Like, this is not part of the type of things that you can improve upon, basically. Like, down the line, after maybe 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, maybe you'll have a bigger, more money, a little bit, but time is not going to be, there is no way you're going to have full control over your time. Like, it's not going to be like, first year, you're going to have 1 day off per week, second year, 2 days off, third year, 3 days off, and so on. And then at the end, you can do like remote work 100%. That's not how it works. That just isn't. Like, look at right now what's happening, like with the COVID thing and all that. Like, people have been doing some remote work, but like, well, then people might say, well, this is like where we're going. We're going like in a remote type of environment because it's better for everybody. Here's the problem, though. Companies, they don't necessarily care that much. What they're paying for when they are employing somebody is loyalty and presence. We're going to talk about loyalty in a second, but presence is one of the things that need to happen. And guess what? Like, companies now, because like we have had like a lot more remote work, well, a lot of companies realize, this is actually not really working because we don't have this part. This part is kind of starting to go and to be missing now. And so people are wanting more and more now to hire people to be there. And so they want them to be there and to be there for a very, very long time. And that's the type of things that if you're okay with it and that's what you want to do with your life, then that's fine, I guess. But if that's not you and you don't want to waste your time at just being there, then maybe you might think about, maybe this video is gonna be helpful for you, right? Because yeah, the presence here, the problem with presence is it's not going to be necessarily like it's not going to be about like your results. Your results are going to matter less and less and less. And so the incentive is not going to be as much as being productive, as much or being like doing things well or blah, blah, blah. Like all of those things that should matter, the results basically, the results are going to matter less and less. And this is again something that for me at least, like this was like the number one thing, right? It's like, who cares about these things here as long as you have the results? But the problem is it's the opposite. It's who care about the results as long as you have those things. It's kind of like the problem with corporate structure. That's just the way it is working. And the first mistake I made is thinking, well, I need another job. That's the first mistake. And this is, honestly, that's the mistake that a lot of, I see tons and tons of people going down that road where they're just like complaining and complaining and complaining. It's like, my job is not good. Like I don't like my boss. I don't like my colleague. I don't like the type of work I'm doing. I think I'm not, I'm underrated where I am. Like I'm not being paid well. Like I'm not blah, 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 blah. You know, it goes on and on and on and on. And I just see it all the time everywhere. And that's the thing that I think people lack experience. They have a big lack of experience. And so because they don't change job very often, and believe me, I've changed jobs a lot, you know, and so I've seen it. The problem might not be the job. Maybe I would challenge you to consider this part. Maybe the problem is not the job, but maybe the problem is having a job. Maybe the problem is the structure, the corporate environment. Maybe it's not working the way you thought it would, right? Because every single time it's the same thing. You change a job, you have your job here. Let's say it's job 1, and then it takes a very, very long time before changing to job 2. And then it's like, it's not quite exact. Maybe you're going to solve some of the problems that you had here and in this one, but there is going to be new problems here. And those new problems, well, they kind of matter. The problem is you don't have control over how to solve those ones. All you can do here is go to job 3, and so on and so on and so on. And it keeps going, and it drives people nuts, you know? So this is kind of like, I guess this is the main point of the video. Like, if you just understand that, then there is nothing else to understand. Like, just try to make sure that this is not what's happening for you, because that could change your life, really. So now let's move forward here. So yeah, what are the potential solutions here if you are going to move forward and actually do things like that actually matter with your life? The first thing is being independent. You need to be independent and get leverage, because if you don't, then there is always going to be, you're always going to depend on independent. You're always going to depend on like somebody else making the rules. If you're independent, then you make the rules. Like, guess what? If you don't like a client, you don't have to work with that client. Like, you can just get rid of that client, and then you make the rules. Like, as long as you don't have good clients, you don't work with them, and that's it, you know. Then sure, there are going to be more responsibility, more like it's going to be empowering. Like, being empowering that's the same word as responsibility. In fact, like in other languages, those words don't exist. Like, those are the same words. In English, you have 2 words for it, but in other language, you don't. So responsibility is power. This is what you want to have if you want to be able to make the rules. Now, of course, that means like you will have to suffer the consequences if something happen. Yeah, but that gives you power. So this is kind of like the idea here. So that's going to give you leverage, and from there, there is that's kind of like the that is the goal where you now can make those rules and negotiate the way you want things to be, because if you're in a corporate environment, as I said, you're not going to have control over your time. Here you will have full control over your time. That means if you manage to like deliver for your clients, they don't care about your time. Like all they care about is solving their problems. Is people are selfish, which is a good thing, because then no one cares about like how you spend your time, as long as you are doing it. I'm not saying it is easy to do to actually leverage your time correctly, right? And it's going to be completely new if you're gonna go down that road, because that part, we need to understand that part, right? Leverage, like company here, if you let's write this right. Companies, they are being built and structured so that the leverage is completely on their side. That's kind of like the entire idea of a company is they are keeping the leverage, and then everything else is given to people to do the little work, but they keep the leverage. The point of being independent is to get that leverage for yourself and then to use it well. But because companies have the leverage, that also means that you don't know, you haven't been trained on using leverage correctly. That means you're probably going to make a lot of mistakes, but at least you're going to learn. And so I guess that's the last point I want to make here. You want to, if you are going to do that, I would challenge you to really start thinking about it right now, because you need to do this as early as possible, because it's going to be completely different from the mindset of the corporate environment if you're going to do that. Now, would you rather do this like in your 20s, in your 30s, or in your 50s when you realize, or usually it's in your 40s, right? Like most people at 40, they realize, I don't like my life, I don't like where it's going, and I realize now that my job is not going anywhere. Like I thought that, because when you get started, it's exciting, you get money, you get blah, 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 you get responsibilities, you get a lot of things. But then at 40, you realize like, oh, that's it. Like there is nothing else. There is a wall here. I'm never going to be able to have control over my time. It's never going to work. It's this leverage. I don't have full leverage here. And so that the point of this video, I guess, is you want to avoid this, and you want to be doing that as early as possible, because then you're gonna build the skills so that you can actually learn to use leverage the right way. And the earlier you do that, the better it's going to be, the easier it's going to be, the more skills you're going to accumulate. And the earlier it is, the better for you. And also it's going to be more. We're gonna get tired at some point. Like going down that road at 40 is tough. It's pretty tough. Now, I'm not saying it's impossible. Of course, if you're in that case, then start doing it and use the skills you've acquired so far. But still, this is something that you wanna do when you have you wanna use most of your energy in building those actual skills, instead of skills that are just specific to a company that are not really useful for you. So I guess the point is I don't remember the book, but there is a book that says mind your own business, mind your own business. And this is the idea, right? Are the skills you're accumulating now skills that you're going to be able to leverage for yourself? And if you're working in a corporate environment right now, then it's extremely difficult to mind your own business and start building those skills. So if you want to be part of my contacts, you can click on the link in the description. If I want to share something with you, I'll send you an email. And thank you for watching, and see you in the next one.